APA 6 Formatting from the Writing Center at the ARC, John Tyler Community College. What is APA and which classes typically use this style? APA stands for the American Psychological Association. It is commonly used for courses in the social sciences to showcase material that is clear and consistent. What are some tips to use when writing in APA? Limit the use of direct quotes. Paraphrase. When writing in the sciences, readers want to see what you understand from the concepts. Primary sources are preferred. Primary sources are typically seen as more reliable because they are directly related to the data. APA sections. An APA paper typically has 4 major sections: a title page, an abstract, the main body paragraphs, and a reference page. APA formatting. Your paper should be formatted with Times New Roman size 12 font, double-spaced, with a page header on the first page, and a running head on all subsequent pages. Headers. Under the Insert tab, select page number 3 in the box titled Header and Footer under Page Numbers. Within the Insert tab, look in the box titled Header and Footer and click Different First Page. Just for the first page, type Running Header, then shorten version of your title on the upper left-hand corner. After your cover page, it should just be the title of your paper in the header in the upper left-hand corner. Insert an alignment tab set to the right before your page number to return the page number to the right side of the header. Cover page. This should all be centered in the middle of the page. It should include the title of your paper, your first and last name, your professor's name, the name of the university or college, and potentially the date of your paper. Check with your professor to see if it's needed. Here's an example of what your title page should look like. Abstract. This is the next page following the cover page and should contain only the abstract of the paper. The first line should be titled Abstract and should be centered on the page. An abstract is a brief summary of your paper that discusses the main points brought up within the paper. The word count should range from a minimum of 150 words to a maximum of 250 words. Do not indent this paragraph. Here is an example of what your abstract should look like. Headings. Your main heading should be centered and bold, and any subheadings should be left-aligned and bold as well. Main body paragraphs. Remember, the title of your paper is centered and not bolded. Indent 0.5 spaces for each new paragraph. The introduction has no heading. Level 1 headings, if used, are in bold and written in upper and lower cases. Level 2 headings are in flush left, bold, and written in upper and lower case. In-text citations include the author's name, the publication year, and the page number if available. If the author's name is mentioned from an article, then write the year as an in-text citation. If the author's name mentioned from a book, then write page numbers as the in-text citation. Here's an example of how your body paragraphs should be formatted. References. Presented on a separate page after the conclusion of a research paper. The word references should be centered at the top. Each APA citation is listed in alphabetical order, aligned to the left, and formatted with a hanging indent. Here's an example of what your reference page should look like. Now we move on to APA citations. In-text citations. The most basic in-text citations will have the author's last name, the year published, the page number. An example of this is Zapata, 1998, page 19. The information can be split into 2 pairs of parentheses. An example: one tutor, Zapata 1997, really enjoyed eating pizza in the woods near a really scary house, page 7. Here's an example of what in-text citations will look like in your paper. In-text citations continued. 2 authors. Always include both authors. When using a signal phrase in the paragraph, use and, but in your in-text citation, you'll use the symbol ampersand. Example: Zapata and Wynne, 1997, page 23. 3 or more authors. In the first reference of a written work by 3 to 5 authors, name all contributors. Example: Zapata, Wynne, and Shamsuddin. In references after that, use the first author's name followed by et al. Example, Zapata et al. Reference list citations. There's typically a 5-step format. One author / authors, last name, and then initials. Then the year of publication in parentheses. Next, the title, which is italicized. After that, the publication's city and state or country. And then after that, the publisher. Reference list citations continued. For one author, it should be formatted as the author's name, the publication year in parentheses, then the title of container with a colon for the container subtitles in italics. After that, the publication city, and then the abbreviated name for the state, or the country of publication with a colon for the publisher, and then the URL. For 2 or more authors, it should be the first author's last name and the next author's last name and initials. Then the year of publication in parentheses, the title in italics, the publication city, state, or country, and then a colon for the publisher. Audio, visual, and multimedia citations. For film, video, or DVD, you take the producer's last name, then initials, and put producer in parentheses. Next, you put an ampersand, and then the director's last name, initials, and director in parentheses. After that, you put the year in parentheses. Next, the title of the film goes in italics, and you have to put motion picture in brackets after it. Next, the country, then a colon, and then the studio that created the movie. For podcasts, you take the writer's last name, then initials, and then put writer in parentheses. Next, an ampersand, then the producer's last name, initials, and producer in parentheses. If these are the same people, then you just put writer and producer in parentheses. Next, the year, month, day the podcast was released in parentheses. Next, the title of the podcast, and then the title of site or program in italics. After that, you put audio podcast in brackets, and then the URL you retrieved it from. Audio, visual, and multimedia citations continued. Music recordings. First, write the composer's last name, then initials. Next, the year of copyright in parentheses. Next, the title of the song. Then, write on, then the title of the album in italics. Next, in brackets, you write the medium, which that'll be a CD or a record or something like that. Next is the city, the state or country it was released in, a colon, and the studio was released from. For a TV program, you take the last name and the initials of the writer, and the last name and the initials of the director. You put the year in parentheses, the title of the episode, and a descriptive label such as television series episode. Next is the producer's initials and last name, the series title, then city, state, or country it was released from, and then a colon for the network it was released from.